everybody? Welcome back inside of the quarantine kitchen where we are still under quarantine. We are still all bored out of our minds. And in case you haven't noticed, we've welcomed in the guest chefs today for another kids edition of Quarantine Kitchen. We're not really cooking, but we kind of are. We are making homemade Play-Doh. This stuff's pretty cool. It's pretty pliable. I don't know if any of you have ever been in the predicament where you feel like a terrible parent where you never volunteer to do anything for your kid's school, and they're like, hey, you know what? We need a Play-Doh parent. And you're like, I can do that. That's not that hard. And it's not. It's relatively easy, and it's a lot better Play-Doh than the stuff you buy in the store. It lasts longer, it's smoother, and you can do all kinds of really fun stuff with it. So went ahead and wrote the recipe out for everybody this time. Very easy to double and or triple. The one I'm going to be doing today is actually going to be tripled. And just so you know, each one of these right here, they're a little bit bigger than a standard container of Play-Doh, and that is that 1 cup recipe for each one of these. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mix all of our dry ingredients into a bowl. So, lovely assistant, go ahead and dump in the flour. Go ahead with the cream of tartar there, my secondary unicorn. Salt. And then into the same bowl, we go ahead and add the oil. So once that's all in there, we're waiting for our water to finish boiling. You hear that? On cue. Once that water boils. So we're going to go ahead and grab that water and get it in here, and it's going to fly together relatively quick from here. If you want one color, it's best to go ahead and put your food coloring in there now. The gel coloring does work best. You can use it with regular old food coloring. The kids each want their own separate color pool. So once we have everything kneaded together, we'll separate it into 3, add our coloring, and knead it together. All right, so for this part, once you have your boiling water in your measuring cup, I definitely recommend adult taking the wheel from here. If you want your kid playing with boiling water, that's completely up to you. It's just how I like to do it. I definitely wouldn't pour in the whole entire amount of water right off the bat. It's easier to add more water if it's a little dry or a little too sticky than it is to go ahead and try to measure out little bits of all the ingredients to make the recipe right. So we're just going to be mixing that in here, and it's just going to get really, really sticky like a pizza crust or any kind of dough you've ever made. Everything in here is actually edible, so if you really wanted to, you could eat it. It doesn't taste very good. It's very salty.
Don't eat it. I tried it. It's no.
Yeah, don't eat it. Want to.
Of course they tried it because it's the quarantine, so they're eating everything that is not nailed down. You can see there, it just has that nice floury consistency. Once you get it to there, it's still going to be a little sticky. So at this point, all you're going to do is you're just going to simply knead it. That's going to give it a nice, smooth consistency and really help finalize the mixing process. So once you get it to where it's a pretty good consistency, that's where you can cut it up and add your additional colors. All right, so it turns out that the ball dough I made here, it is a little bit sticky. So we just went ahead and put just a little bit of flour on there. Just a little bit goes a long way in just helping take away that last bit of tackiness and making it very easy to play with. All right, so we have our nice, what looks like a loaf of bread or pizza crust as it's proofing, and we have it all done. It's adding that little bit of flour, took that last little bit of stickiness we had on there out of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just separate it into 3 sections. Of course, everyone wants a different color. And then the gel stuff goes a long way. So just a couple drips of the gel coloring. And try to keep it off your hands. Do one in blue.
I want 2 drops of blue and 1 drop of green.
2 drops of blue.
Green and yellow.
How about just green? Okay, so once you have all your food coloring in there, you don't want to touch the food coloring directly. You just want to make sure you fold that right over, and then just start your kneading process. Fold it, fold the sides in. You can kind of see how it does get a little messy there. If you need to add more coloring, go ahead and do so, but I would definitely knead it for a solid minute or 2. A little bit of it does go a long way, especially if you're using the gel. If you're using a regular standard food coloring and you want a really bright color, you're going to go through a lot of it. A little bit in, you can see the yellow is looking pretty yellow. Our blue is very pastel blue. We're going to add a little bit more to that. And our green is a little bit of more of a shamrock shake green. We'll add a little bit more to them. keep kneading. As you can see, all my little helpers are pretty excited to dig into their Play-Doh.
Apple, Daddy.
It is an apple. I don't think it's an apple, it's an egg. But you can see that
It's egg.
it is an egg.
Egg.
As you can see, they're all pretty happy. We made 3 new ones, and quite honestly, we had 2 more that we tried first to make sure I still remembered how to make this recipe, because it's been a little while since I was a certified Play-Doh parent. This is going to give the kids hours of playtime. It's much softer than the standard Play-Doh. It lasts a lot longer. You just keep that in a Ziploc bag or a Tupperware container, and you're going to be able to play with that for a long time. They have a rolling pin, they have cookie cutters, and they can just go to town and have a blast. So this is a perfect activity for kids to do. It's going to kill a lot of time. And quite honestly, if you're the right level of adult having fun, this is a pretty good time for you to do as well. Thank you all for joining us. The kids are going to tear into this. We'll be back with another one here at some point. We got another 3 to 4 weeks of quarantine, so we'll just keep rocking them out. Stay safe out there. Wash your hands if you want. We'll be back. See ya.